We now present For the Record.
Welcome to For the Record. I'm Will Keneally. Major news out of the universities of Wisconsin this week as the UW Board of Regents finally agreed to a deal with the state legislature over pay raises and building investments. Now I say finally because last Saturday the Regents voted down the same proposal. But after speaking to stakeholders, enough Regents flipped their votes to approve the deal. Now it was a tough process, according to Universities of Wisconsin President Jay Rothman. The trade-off from the universities is that they would need to freeze hires for diversity, equity, and inclusion for 3 years and assign a third of existing employees to other positions. Here's more from the wake of the Regents' vote on Wednesday.
This was an arduous and it was a challenging process.
But those months of negotiations are now over, with the Board of Regents meeting for a second time this week to vote on the proposal. What you're seeing here is the first vote last Saturday. It ultimately failed. Now this regent, Amy Blumenfeld-Bogost, was one of the swing votes rejecting the plan on Saturday. By Wednesday, she had changed her mind.
We simply can't ignore the immense challenges facing our universities. It is clear that this compromise resolution, which includes a much-needed increase for our university's employee compensation, among other things, will allow the universities of Wisconsin to continue to pursue opportunities for all underdeserved students.
Campus chancellors, including Corey King of Whitewater, argued their commitment to DEI will not be diminished despite the cuts.
I will not deny that these are challenging times and finding pathways can be difficult in many circumstances. Let me be clear that our collective commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion and belonging is unwavering.
These are all desperately needed within the universities of Wisconsin, and this will be a big boost. It is not the end. We are still funded at the level of 42nd out of 50 in the nation in terms of funding for public university systems, but this is a step forward. In my judgment, this was a compromise and an agreement that I now expect the legislature to move forward with.
All right. The agreement, though, will have a significant impact on UW faculty and staff, unlocking pay raises for those employees. And joining us now is Michael Bernard Donalds, a professor of English and Jewish Studies at UW-Madison, also president of PROFS, which is an organization representing faculty on campus. And thanks so much for joining us.
Sure, thanks. Good to be with you.
Yeah, so what's your initial reaction to the vote from the board this week?
I mean, I can imagine that this was an incredibly difficult decision for members of the Board of Regents, you know, as is evident from the fact that they had to do the vote twice. Robin Voss put Chancellor Mnuchin and President Rothman and the Board of Regents in an incredibly difficult position. The vote could have gone either way. I mean, it did go both ways, clearly. The arrangement provides some good things for the universities of Wisconsin, but Representative Voss made it abundantly clear that he has it in for diversity, equity, and inclusion at the universities, and he forced a decision that I think is going to set us back some in that area.
So one of the bigger pieces of this proposal were the pay raises for faculty, and it's obviously kind of unique for someone who have their raises tied to the state legislature. How important was it for you all and the faculty to secure those raises?
It was important to have the increases that were passed in the budget this summer and were signed into law by Governor Evers. I think those pay raises especially make a difference for university employees who are less well compensated than faculty members. This includes members of the university staff and some members of the academic staff. You know, the inflation of the past year has really taken a bite out of people's take-home pay, and it was really crucial, I think, for especially the lower wage folks at the university to get those increases. You're right to say that it's unusual for things to be done this way. I don't know of many states where a budget can be passed that includes pay raises and then a committee of the legislature, not the full committee, or not the full legislature, but a committee of the legislature can essentially withhold those pay raises and do what Representative Voss did here by forcing the university into an incredibly difficult position.
So I get the sense that, as you were mentioning before, there are different people kind of stuck in the middle between these negotiations. I feel like that includes faculty here. Had PROFS taken a stance on the proposal? Were they asking anything of the Regents going into either of these votes?
PROFS didn't take a position going into the negotiations, nor did we take a position on the deal that was announced, but before it was decided. I think, like a lot of people, we knew that this was going to be difficult for the Regents. I know it was difficult for President Rothman and Chancellor Mnuchin. I know there are aspects of the deal that both of them were uncomfortable with, and it's clear that the Regents were also very uncomfortable with aspects of this arrangement having to do with the curtailment of diversity positions. PROFS will have a statement out later today, and it should be available. But that statement essentially says what I've just said here, which is that the arrangement, it does provide some good things for the universities of Wisconsin and the UW-Madison, but it threatens to erode our initiatives in the diversity space because of Representative Boss's fairly narrow ideological position on that.
And so we're expecting this, obviously, to keep happening with each budget cycle every 2 years. Where do you expect the negotiations to go from here, from your perspective?
I really don't know. I know that a number of legislators and members of the Regents worried about this, that this is precedent setting. There's no guarantee that this won't, as you say, happen again. One of the things that's especially alarming about this is that it violates what I think of as the separation of powers clauses in the state constitution. And I know that Governor Evers is suing the legislature for essentially making it possible for committees to override laws that have been passed and signed. PROFS is working, I think, to serve as an intervener should that lawsuit go forward.
Professor Michael Bernard Donalds, thanks so much for joining us, especially during finals week. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Will. Good to be with you.